Hi, and welcome to the 64 Doors. Today we're going to open door 49, and this is the archetype of the revolutionary. Gate 49 comes from the emotional center and meets gate 19 in the root center, and together they form the channel of sensitivity, a design of synthesis. And I want to show you in the body graph. Right now, we have the sun in gate 49 in Aquarius. We have the earth in gate 4 in Leo, and the design part of the cross is 43 and 23. So if you're born this week in this transit, this is the cross, the incarnation cross, or the activation sequence that you're going to have. You can also see that the 49 comes from the emotional center and that it meets the 19 in the root center. And the 19 is a gate that we were in only 2 weeks ago, and we've called it the archetype of the Utarian. The 19th, as the 49, they are tribal. This is tribal circuitry. So the 19th knows about the needs that exist in a tribe for the tribes to survive. So the needs for shelter, for food, and for sex, basically. And it's a pressure to survive in the 19th. In the 49, we have the emotional component of that. So the 49 is going to have principles or values of what it's entitled to, what the tribe needs in order to survive. And it kind of functions on a wave. And it will put out these needs. And it's going to kind of wait for the reaction from the other to see, can this be a marriage or is this not a marriage? We can see it's called the channel of the bride and the groom as well. So the 49 feels if it needs to reject or if it needs to merge. And when we look at it here in the living library, you see victim of emotional reactions. So it is going to put out its principles. It's going to want the other to obey. And if the other doesn't obey, it's going to have to reject them. And it actually has this ability to become completely cold and to see the other as even like inhuman. And this comes from long ago when we needed to kill animals in order to survive as a tribe or as a human being. In order to be able to kill, you kind of have to completely turn off your emotions and to be completely indifferent. And that is the basis of this 49. That is, you could say, also the gate of divorce. Like you have turned off, and there's no more possibility of coming together. You can see here in the programming partner that we have intolerance. So the intolerance is creating this separation. We and you, two different tribes, or we and you, two different religions, or two different cultures, or me and you. It's always about that kind of intolerance and not understanding each other. And when we look at the codon ring, we have the 49 and the 55, and here in the 55 we have the victimization. So again, the victim of this emotional wave of the reactions that we can have when the other doesn't obey us, when the other doesn't buy our principles. So you can see how in the shadow frequency we have intolerance, reaction, and victimization, which is a lot of the patterns that the world is in when we have war, when we have reactions, when we have intolerance, when we have a society where there is no collaboration, but there is competition and separation. And it's also beautiful to see what is happening when we can open up that frequency, and there can be more understanding between people, between tribes, when there can be forgiveness for the things that happened in the past, and how that creates a completely new way of relating to each other. That is a changing of the world that comes from the inside. It comes from actually using our emotions in a different ways. They can be there, but we don't need to kill the other person that doesn't feel the same. We don't need to see them as inhuman because they don't feel the same. And you can see that when there is understanding, when there start to be this new way of relating to each other, that is the way to freedom, which is both the gift and the city of the 55. And when we look at it in the I Ching, we see boiling water starts invisible. In the end, it transforms everything. So you can see that when it comes to the 49, you could say in your life, if we're going to take an example, the 49 is your emotional needs. So it's basically feeling that you are entitled to things, and this happens in close relationships and often intimate relationships. So let's say that I am a woman and I think uh, I'm entitled to flowers every week, and I want my partner to bring me flowers every week because I feel like these are principles. I am worthy of that. And if my partner doesn't bring me flowers, I am going to react to that. And I'm going to basically either create a separation or create like emotional turmoil. So what's really beautiful when we are in gate 49 is to look at all the things, all our emotional needs, and start to become a little bit more tolerant and a little bit more objective to see where do these needs come from? Are these needs that are created from, my emotional lack of something? Am I taking responsibility for my emotions? Am I able to have a little bit more tolerance? Am I able to even put myself in the other person's shoes before I reject them or before I react to them? So that's a really good exercise for this week. And I also wanted to just read, I really love Rosie Aronson's book with the Wisdom Keepers, because they are speaking about the archetypes in a simple way. And here it says, when you resist the urge to react based on your emotion or to be violent towards yourself, you're doing your part to end violence in the world. Be a revolutionary, not a reactionary. So it's a good week to use what comes up for us every time we feel like our needs aren't met. Can we pause and see, where does that come from? Where is that lack? Is anybody else responsible for that, or is that something to look in ourselves? So thank you. Bye.